Hey everyone! So I've been getting loads of questions lately about our homeschooling method. If we follow a curriculum or what's our kind of process, where are we getting ideas for the activities and things like that. Now I say we, but generally it's me when it comes to the planning process. My husband Jesse will jump in with certain activities, especially things like coding. Um, but more often than not, it's me doing the planning. So yeah, if you are homeschooling and looking for a new method, or you're thinking about homeschooling and you're not sure, this is a great place to start. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, if you are new to homeschooling, the very first thing you should do is check out the homeschool laws in your area. It's different by state and by country, so take a look at those first. They're a great place to start. So what we do is child-led learning for the most part. And what that means is we're following our son's interests and we're trying to incorporate multiple subjects under that one interest at the moment. And there are many different methods to homeschooling. I don't think there's any right or wrong way, so long as you're following the letter of the law, of course. But that's just what we do, and we don't follow any one curriculum. I do have a curriculum that I really like because she approaches things the way I do, but his interests don't always fall into that curriculum. I will link it down below just in case you want to check it out. I do love it. You know, she'll take a subject like my body, the human body, and incorporate math and reading and science and creativity and all these sorts of things under the one subject, and that's kind of how we roll too. So when it is applicable, I do use a Child's World curriculum. If not, then I have to look at other resources, but I will get to that, and I will link a Child's World below just in case you want to check it out. We had the kindergarten one too, and that was a great resource to use when we could. So here's our process broken down into steps. I hope this is helpful. If you need some more clarification afterwards, leave a comment below and I will get back to you. So, number one, what is your child interested in? It's a great question, right? So, this is something that I have picked up on from my son, but also through the Child's World group, the natural learning group that comes along with the curriculum. What is a child interested in? Really observe them. It might be really subtle. It might be like, my kid loves Minecraft in space, or dinosaurs, or trucks, or whatever it is. Especially in the younger years, they're not really shy about what they're interested in for the most part. But that's where you're going to kind of start and write these things down. And if they're really interested in something right now, maybe make that priority one. You can kind of shift into the other ones. There's really no right or wrong as long as they are interested in the subject, because that is going to keep them interested in the activities because they want to learn more about this. So what is your child interested in? Write those ideas down first. Or idea, if you just have one at the moment. We kind of go by what he's interested in right now, and then when that changes, we'll just kind of shift gears, and there's no rush. And a lot of times we dive back into old subjects a little bit deeper the following year. So really, it depends on your child, it depends on your style and what you need, but go with the flow, write down their interests, and start from there. So when you have the one interest in mind that you're going to start with, this is number two. Take that interest and look around. What materials do you already have on that subject? This is the very first place we start because we have a ton of books. We have so many books on so many subjects. I love it. And I will definitely be sharing some of those with you as this goes on YouTube. But anywho, so what materials can you find around the house? Do you have books? Do you have art projects? Do you have art supplies? Do you have things in the kitchen you can use for experiments and things like that? Look around your house first and see what you have and kind of do a brainstorming with the things you have and how you can bring them in to that interest. So just for an example, let's say ocean, because in a month we'll be going back to Cape Cod and we'll be studying more about the ocean, as we do when we're on the Cape every time without fail, because we're at the beach. So ocean, we have tons of books on oceans that we can look up. We can use books about recycling and the importance of not leaving trash on the beach. We can use marine life. We can talk about the plants that are in the ocean, the tides. I mean, we have so many books on these subjects. It's not even funny. We love the ocean. I mean, my grandfather painted this. We have another one in the kitchen. And my parents' house looks like a beach house, even though it's in the middle of the woods, and we love the beach. So we have tons of books on the ocean. So anytime that interest comes up, or we're planning another trip to the beach, we definitely review it, and we definitely have all of those books. So step 2, what materials do you already have in your house? Take a look and write down your materials so you don't forget any. Number 3, what can you find locally? If you don't have a lot of materials, even if you do, sometimes it's fun to bring in something new. What can you find locally to help with this interest? What does your local library have? That's the great place to start because it's free. Go to the library, see what they have. Are there any field trips in your area that you can take that have to do with this interest? When we do things like space, we go to the local planetarium. A lot of the science subjects, we have a membership at the Museum of Science in Boston, so we make trips down there. Generally, we don't go in the summertime because it's busy and all the kids are out of school. Once the kids are back in school, barring field trips, we've also gone on days where there's field trips. It's generally a lot easier to go to the museum when school's in session. So what can you find locally to use with this interest, with what you already have? Sometimes you'll have a lot on the subject and only need a few things that aren't in your house already. Sometimes you won't have much. For instance, recently my son became interested in early man and the evolution of man, and while we have lots of human body books about current humanity, didn't have much on early man, so it was a lot of finding resources elsewhere. So 3, what can you find locally? Check out your library, and what field trips can you take? Number 4, Pinterest. Now, I'm going to imagine that a lot of you are already on Pinterest. If you're not, get on it. I know, you're like, what is this thing? It just saves ideas, but really it's organized. I have boards for recipes, I have boards for trips we're going to take, trips I want to take, and of course, homeschooling. So look around on Pinterest, see what you can find that already exists, ideas, activities, things like that, and pin them to a board, either an overall homeschool board, or you can do it by subject. Really, it's up to you. But pin the heck out of this interest so that you have plenty of ideas to choose from. I have a really long board going on right now on Pinterest. I'm always adding to it. Even if I just see something that we're not necessarily learning right now, I add it for later. It's a great way to save things in a very visual way. That's not bookmarks. I mean, I don't know how many times I bookmark things and I never go back to it, and then I'm looking at the list going, I don't know what this is. So if you're anything like me, check out Pinterest. And especially for the art projects. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I get so excited about Pinterest. And I'll link my board below if you want to check it out too. So that's number 4. Check out Pinterest. Number 5. Netflix, YouTube, or Hulu, or Amazon Prime. Whatever you have, plus YouTube, look for documentaries. Documentaries are amazing, especially for homeschooling parents who need to cook dinner. You want to throw in something that's educational so that your kids are entertained and learning things while you're cooking dinner or while you're setting up the next activity or whatever it is. Now, some kids hate documentaries, so it might be a little bit harder to find something that interests them. My son loves them. He's just like me. He loves to sit and watch documentaries. They are the longest movies. He'll sit through the whole thing. He loves them. But another thing you can do is go back to Pinterest, and pin the links to the documentaries that you want your kids to watch at a later date. So that is number 5. Whatever you are subscribed to, and YouTube for documentaries. Check them out. Okay, the last one, number 6. Now that you have all of your materials gathered, all of the possible what's in your house, you have what was at the library, you have a field trip planned, you've got some documentaries, and you've got loads of things on Pinterest that you can use. Write everything down, prioritize them, and plan activities that include all the subjects. This is what I love about child-led learning, out-of-the-box learning, not strictly using a curriculum. And when we do, it's a child's world that does the same thing that we do. Plan activities that include all the subjects. So science, math, reading, social studies, creativity and art, cooking, whatever it is. etc., etc., etc. Plan activities under the one interest that can fit into all these categories. Now, a lot of them overlap anyway. So when we were learning about early man, that covers science and social studies / anthropology pretty quickly. Like they overlap like crazy. Math was a little harder for me to figure out. It's reading books that you found. I mean, come on, readings all the time. And for art, we did cave paintings, which was super fun. We made our own paint using charcoal and oil, which again goes back to science too. And then we created cave paintings. So that was a lot of fun. So just to recap, with child-led learning, 1, what is child interested in? 2, what materials do you already have for that subject? Number 3, what can you find locally, like the library or a field trip? 4, use Pinterest. Use Pinterest. Use Pinterest. My husband gave me a hard time about Pinterest until I showed him all the glory that is Pinterest. He was a stay-at-home dad for a year. He had a hard time with the homeschool planning. Pinterest is your best friend for homeschoolers. Sorry, ranting. Number 4, Pinterest. Number 5, Netflix or whatever, and YouTube, documentaries. And number 6, plan your activities using all of these materials for all the subjects: science, math, reading, social studies, creativity, etc. And there you have it. That is basically what we do for child-led learning on a case-by-case basis. So it's a lot more planning. It's not a curriculum that you get in a box and you follow it, blah, 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 blah. But we wanted to keep things custom for him. That is the main reason we started homeschooling. Everything boils down to a custom education that helps him thrive. I hope this was helpful for you. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. If you loved it, click subscribe. I will be putting out new videos every Monday. I'll talk to you soon.